So I'm going to go ahead and start recording right now. Hold on one second. When can y'all come back? It's up to y'all.
I'll come back tomorrow.
All right, so I'm here this week, man. Milk
Right
it.
in front of you.
I milk it. What's we got? All right, I'll get you looked up tomorrow, too. Tasha, that was awesome.
We'll get together. We'll see each other at our conventions and
All that. Tasha, I like you.
Thank you.
All right, take care now.
We'll find the bottom of the bottle next time.
Okay, guys, here we go. About to give out this juice. So I'm going to probably write out. I want you to take notes, right? Brianna, she's always a great note taker. Would you take some notes for me tonight and put those notes in the chat as best as you can? I'm going to bless you tonight. So if you can do that for me, Brianna, it'd be greatly appreciated. So take some notes for me tonight and put those notes in the chat for me, Brianna. It'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. Make sure I have your Cash App because I'm going to send you a seed for helping me out. Okay, so after this is over, inbox me. Let me get your Cash App so I can bless you tonight for doing this. All right, so this is what we're going to do. I want y'all to see this. Let's get this going. So, guys, rule number one. Never conduct a trade without going to look at the day chart first. Never conduct a trade. Thank you, Brianna. Never conduct a trade without going to look at the day chart first. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about that. Never do a trade. Never do a trade without going to the day chart first. The day chart, as I teach you this, guys, the day chart is going to set up your chart for the whole day, right? It's going to regulate how you look at every trade. It's going to regulate how can I say this? It's going to regulate the trades you take on the harmonic scanner. It's going to regulate the trades you take on a regular basis, right? And never forget this rule. The larger the time frame controls the time frames behind it, right? So this day chart is on a larger time frame. The rest of these time frames, the 4 hour, the 1 hour, the 30 minute, the 15 minute, the 5 minute, and the 1 minute, all of these time frames are going to be controlled by this larger time frame, right? And a safe trade is to follow the larger trend off times. Off times, not every time. There's nothing I'm saying is 100% accurate. Hey, Yunin. Everything I'm saying is not 100% accurate. I see Yunin Garth there. I see he's got a little do-rag on right there. I'm messing with him tonight. All right. So now, can y'all hear me? Hello? Can y'all hear me? Make sure y'all can hear me. Well, y'all able to hear everything I just said? All right. All right. All right, good, good, good. Did y'all hear me talk about the day chart? Okay, good. All right. So the day chart is going to control every other chart. The day chart is going to do what? It's going to control every other chart underneath those time frames. So what I do, guys, rule number one, when I'm training, I go look at the day chart first. All right, now, I want you to notice a couple of things on this day chart, right? If you notice the day chart, it is indeed in an upward trend, right? On the day chart, the overall trend for this currency pair, which I just put on the currency pair, it doesn't matter whichever one. But the overall trend for this currency pair is in an uptrend. I want y'all to see this. This currency pair is in an uptrend, right? It is in an uptrend on the day chart. Where is it at right now? It's in a retracement. So on the day chart, it's retracing. Make sure you get the notes from Brianna as she types these notes in the chat, guys. So on the day chart, do you notice where the day chart is? It is in an uptrend. Where is it going? Upward. Where is it going? Upward. If something's not clear, type in the notes, and I will go back over it. Right? If something's not clear, type in the notes, I'll go back over it. Okay? Because I'm keeping your notes in front of me so I can stay along with everybody else. If I'm not being clear, you need to let me know. So this is an uptrend, right? Right? See it's going up? It's in the uptrend on the day chart. Now, but what you see on the day chart is in a retracement. Now, why is this particular currency pair in retracement? Because, write this down, it is very important. It is very important that you understand zones. I'm going to draw some zones for you guys so you can see the zone of why this particular chart is in retracement in this area. All right, here's the zone, right? Zone 1, zone, this is that zone. I don't want you to see this. I'm going to change these colors on this zone so you can see this. I'm going to turn it from red to, let's go with a lighter blue. Let's make this line a little bit thicker, right? Let's do the same with this. All right, I want you to see this is very important, ladies and gentlemen. If you understand this, you're going to start securing your trades and making better trades. All right, now watch this. Notice this zone on the day chart. Look what happened when the price entered that zone. What did it do? It retraced. So price was trying to go here, but it couldn't. It retraced, right? Came back up, didn't. Went back in that zone. What happened when price went in that zone? Do you see this zone? This is a zone here. What did it do? It retraced. So now what you automatically know, if you go to lesser time frames, this is a zone up here, right? This is your zone for the week. So you have that zone top. So you know it hits this zone. So you know this for the whole week now. So you know for the whole week, this thing's gonna hit this and then it's gonna fall back down, right? In that zone. How do you go about determining the zone? Very good question, Casey. How do you determine the zone? The wicks. These wicks. Do you see these wicks? This little stem here, this little stem here, this little stem here, this little stem here. It tried to puncture through this zone. There's no such thing as a straight line or a definitive line in trading. It's only zones. All you have is zones. So when it started wicking in the zone and it started going back down, came up, went down, came up again, wicking in that zone, came back down. So this, if you look at this for the week, you know that this trade is going to have problems getting anywhere close to this blue line. See this blue line, right? See this blue line? Guys, if you raise your hand, I never pay attention to raise hands. I only pay attention to when you write in the chat because some people accidentally raise their hand, right? And I don't want to keep unmuting you and you're like, oh, that was an accident. So if you have a question, make sure you type it in the chart. All right, so it has zones. Do you see this zone here? This is the zone. So you know this blue line indicates strong resistance for this particular trade currency pair. Right? You can draw it at the top of the candle. So I drew it at the top. So I knew that my strongest resistance is going to be at the top, and then my next resistance is going to be this line right here. Right? It's been flowing on this trend line. It hits this line, go back up, hit that line, go back up. Look what it hit this line. What did it do? It went back up. It's coming back down to this line. So what is this telling me? There's a chance, double top, absolutely. There's a chance that this could break this trend line and start going into a downtrend. Now, if it starts going into a downtrend, that's a whole other thing. But what I want you to understand is it hit this area in this zone and push it down. Hit this area in this zone, push it down. Usually when it hits this zone and it's pushing that down, this zone could be so strong that it makes this trend on the day chart go in another direction. But now let's go back because I really want you to understand this. Right? This still doesn't deal with my day. I'm looking at for the week. So on a Sunday, I'll come in and I'll draw my zones. If the zone is on the bottom, I'll draw my zone on the bottom. If the zone is on the top, I'm looking for my zone on the top, right? So I'm gonna delete this line out just for a second on this trend line, and I'm gonna show you something else. Now, here's how I go into my day. Here's how I look at my day. Thank you, Alonzo. He said double top, right? This is how I look at my day. If I'm gonna do a chart on the day, right? Right, I'll do my chart on the day. I'm going to determine where that trade is going to be for that day. And how do I do that? By the previous candle on the next day. Sometimes the previous candle on the next day tells me, right, where this trade is going to be at for that entire day. Sometimes I can go look at this direct candle. I'll do 2 zones on this, okay? And you'll see it on a lower time frames, but I'm going to show you what I do. All right, the first thing I want to do is I want to pick out my candle that is formed for the day, and it is this candle right here. Here's my candle for today. So this is my candle for the day chart. So I'm looking to this side of the chart, not to my left, but to my right. I'm looking on this side of the chart, right? I'm looking on this side of the chart over here, right? So this is my candle, and when I reduce time frames, you're going to see this being formed out. Now, what I want to do, however, is define the parameters of where this is going to be trading for today, right? I need you to see this. This is good. I'm not saying that it works 100% of the time. I'm not saying that. Let me pull this back because I want to go in. I want you to see this. All right, now, here's that candle. This is the candle for today, right? Now, this is the candle for the previous day. This is the candle for that day over there. If you notice, it's in a small retracement, right, going down. So I'm looking on the charts prior to this to work a sell. I'm looking for a sell on this. I'll be looking either to sell it or looking for it to go back up and buy it and hit this area, right? So there are two things that I'm looking for because it's going to stay in a contained area. I want to make sure that y'all get this. This trade is going to stay in a contained area. Let me draw the contained area that this trade is going to stay in for that day, right? If you notice that it's already wicking here. Now, why is it wicking there? It's wicking there because it doesn't like this area right here. So what I do is I come in and I'll draw on that wick, right? Do you see that wick? I'll draw on that wick, and I'm going to change the color of that to like, let's go with a color like green. So this is that. So candle tried to go here, it couldn't. So here's a little zone right here. You see this zone? This has been a zone for the past 2 days. This little zone, right? It couldn't come, it couldn't break this one. Then it tried to come, pause right here, send it back up on a buy, right? So you see this little zone? Here's my small zone that I'm looking at for that day because it could potential go all the way down here. But I'm looking for my zones to know where I can get my pips or where I can pull my pips out. So it comes here, does that. So now whatever's on the day chart is going to be respected on the lower time frame. So here's my zone for the turnaround, right? Here's my zone where it wicked at on the low. What I also come in and do is I want you to see this. I'll put it here because there's a potential that this trade can go up here. I'm looking for pips. What am I looking for? Pips. I'm looking for pips that I can catch throughout the day. So here are my parameters for the day, right? I drew those out. These are my parameters for the day on this one. Here's where it formed a double top right here. Topped off here, came down, topped off here, couldn't break it, came back down, right? As it's coming back down on a retracement, it could go as low as these wicks here. It could retrace, guys, as low as here. It could. It's a possibility it could retrace somewhere in this zone. I want you to see the zone of where this could retrace at, somewhere in here. So this has potential over days to come down here before it comes back up or continues on the downtrend, right? So I do a lot of lines here, guys. I know I do a lot of lines, but now I'm not going to focus on these lines. I'm focusing on this day, right? So as I reduce the time frames, you're going to know kind of where I'm at. So this is my ceiling. This blue line is my ceiling, right? Because that's where it wicked at yesterday. That's where it wicked at yesterday. This is where it is today. So somehow this trade is going to stay between these green lines. Watch what happens when I reduce the time frame, right? So here's the 4-hour chart. You still see the turnaround zone right here, right? And you see this zone right here that it could get to, right? And still start going back up. This is being recorded, right? Do you see this? So here's that turnaround zone that we talked about. This is the 4-hour chart, right? See this candle right here? This is the day's candle. It started at 4 o'clock today. This is the second candle that came after that 4 hours later, 10 o'clock. So here's that second candle being formed. But look at where it's going to stay at. It's going to stay in this area. Here's a zone right here, right? It could come in this zone and go back up, or it could come in this zone and drop back down. But what do we say about this zone on the tape chart? What we said about this zone right here is where it hits and bounce back up. So you can pretty much see that there's a possibility for a bounce back right here, right? If it breaks here, here's where another turnaround zone is right here. But it's not going to do that today. 9 times out of 10, it's not going to make that great move today. Now, how can you say is not going to make a big move today. Guys, write this down. Write this down. There's no news. Since there's no news, red letter news coming out today, this candle is going to be small. The only time you have to worry about it busting through is when there is major news coming into the market. Because there's no major news coming into the market, that's why you have these long candles. These long candles are a result of news, right? When there's no news, look how small these candles are, or how small the candles can be, right? Here's a small candle here. That's no news. Go back and research and see if what I'm saying is true, right? When you have small candles like this, where the base of the candle is really small, you don't have big news coming out during those days. When you have full candles, those are typical news days, or where some news was coming on in that particular market, right? So I need y'all to get that. So there's no news. All of these things play in a factor of you looking at your charts and seeing how you're going to trade for that day. This is what I do every day, right? So here's my candle here on the day chart. Here is where that zone is right here, right? Where this thing could possibly hit this and turn around and go back the other way. So let's go to the 4-hour chart. There's that zone right there, right? But here's this candle forward. This is the candle we're paying attention to. We're going from this line forward. Now look at what's happening. It's getting into that zone. What color is that candle? Green. Why is this candle green? The reason why this candle is green is because it's getting close to this area, right? If it's getting close to this area, which is the area that it's turned around in, which is the area that it doesn't like, which is the area that it's starting to reject right in here. This is a rejection area, right? That's why you have a green candle right there, because this is not comfortable in this zone. So now you have a green candle. Let's reduce it and go to a smaller time frame. Let's go to an hour. Look at what happened on the hour time frame. We know that this is that turnaround zone right there, right? It doesn't like this area right here. Do you see that? Doesn't like this area. You have several green candles. Here's the high that we're looking at right here, right? So automatically, you know what I'm looking for? A buy. I'm looking for a buy right here. I'm looking for this, or if I was doing this trade, I'm looking for a buy, right? Because it doesn't like this area. So what am I looking for a buy for? I'm looking for a buy for this to ride up in this area. If it breaks out, it'll break out into consolidation coming here, but you know it doesn't like this area. So what are you looking for on this day? A buy. Now, guys, if you don't understand why I'm looking for a buy, let me go back and review. I'm looking for a buy because I already defined on the day chart that this is a zone that this particular currency pair doesn't like. It's usually going to hit this zone and then go back up. Why? Because on the previous day, this is where it wicked at. It wicked in this area. So it comes into this area, and look what it's doing. It's going back up. I've already defined on my day chart that this particular currency pair, let me make it smaller. This particular currency pair does not like this area. The day chart told me it didn't like that area. So since the day chart told me it didn't like that area, what am I looking for? I'm looking for a good place to buy and ride it up at least to somewhere in here, right? Because it may get up here, right? So my take profit is somewhere in here. If I get in here, here's where my take profit is, right here. Let me change the color of this line. I want y'all to see this. So if I got in it, I'm not saying get in it. If I got in it, let me change the color of this line here. On the 4-hour chart, if I was trading on, on the 1-hour chart, which is the typical chart I trade from, here's where my take profit is. My take profit is right here. That's my take profit. I'll ride that up to hit that take profit. How many pips is that from here to here? 34 pips. Do you know what you can do with 34 pips? I want to teach you how to respect pips. If you don't learn nothing else, respect pips. If I could get you 10 pips every day, and you knew that you could get 10 pips every day, you'd never go back and work another day in your life. Right, so Chris Kirk asks this. So you draw the zones on the day chart and use those same lines for lesser time frames. Absolutely, Chris. That is the way you want to trade, right? Look at this. It's trying to go down. Now, we know the overall trend is in a retracement, right? We know that this is retracing on the day chart, but we do know that this is where this area where it wicked. So this could come down in this area, hit here. So now, let me tell you what I do. What I typically would do is come in this area. I would want this trade to come down and hit here. Once it hits here, here is my buy limit. So I place, let's make sure you get this. I'll place let me just show you this. I'll place a buy limit. Do y'all see that? I'll place a buy limit in this zone because I want it to wick here and then I want to catch up. It all going back up. It may not come in this area, but I'm just showing you how I do it. I know this is a turnaround area. I know that it doesn't like this area. It hasn't liked this area yesterday. So it came in here yesterday. This is all yesterday, right? So it came in here yesterday. It didn't like that area. Look what it did when it hit that area. It came up, hit this place of resistance, came back down, retesting that zone, coming back up. So what I would have did was placed a buy limit somewhere in that zone. If it didn't hit it, I missed it. I'm okay with that. But at least I didn't lose any money. But what I want is it to hit that zone and then come back up. Why did you choose that price as a take profit? Because that's just where I see a lot of resistance at. Look at this wicks. Let's go along this gold line. Look at those wicks. See those wicks? See them? Wicky, wicky, wicky. Right? Right? Now, let me show you this. If that was here was my first take profit right here. Now I'm examining the chart now, right? So I'll probably take if it hits here, my first take profit zone will be somewhere, and I'm not going to get too technical, but my first take profit zone will be somewhere in there, right? Usually 10 pips. 10 pips from my initial entry. This is 20 pips though. So my first take profit will be from my, right here. I'm looking at 10 pips. Let's see from there to there. It's about 14. Yeah, about 14, 15 pips. So here's my first take profit. So my first take profit is there. Are y'all getting this? My second take profit is around about here. My third take profit is about somewhere in here. Right? And I'll pull up about 30-something pips right in there. Did you see how I did that? My first take profit is 10 pips. Right? That's my first take profit. But if you do that right, if you did 4 positions on this, if you had 4 positions down here, 2 positions down here on that buy limit, and hit those 2 positions, and maybe your lot size is 50 cents, 250 cents, right? That goes up, that's $20. Right? So from here to here is $20 for you. Right? That's on a $100 account. You just made $20 right here. You can either multiply those positions. That was 2. If you did 4, that's $40 for those 10 pips. Right? You did $40 on those 10 pips. You make $40 from here to here. Right? Right? So I'm just giving you this on how we're looking at it. But this is that zone where it turns around. Right? There is a harmonic pattern starting out right there. But without getting into the too technical, well, should I? Do I want to do that right now? Okay, no. Okay. Because I could, yeah. That's a good one, Bullet. Very good. Okay, so you're seeing this, right? Now, that was on an hour chart. Let me delete this because I want you to see something. Right? Let's say y'all got some people here, you like 15-minute chart trading, right? Remember, this is your area of profit that you're looking for. This is just my system. This is my area of profit I'm looking for, right? This is my area of profit I'm looking for. Sometimes 10, sometimes a little bit more. So this is my area of profit. This is my line I'm looking for today, right? So I'll reduce it all the way to the 15-minute time frame. Now, do you see this on a 15-minute time frame? Do you see? I want you to see this clearer on the 15-minute time frame. Right? Let me take your buy limit. My buy limit was here. Do you see this on a 15-minute time frame? You didn't even see the other line, right? You only see the other line if I drop it out some. Look at this. That's why you're looking for a buy. Do you see this space? You know that it's close to the zone. And this is for my people who do London breakout. If you don't do this on a London breakout, that's why you get into a trade and lose money. Because you're not looking at the London breakout, no matter even if it's there, it's still going to respect the day chart. I don't care about the breakout. It's still going to respect the day chart. And some of y'all got in that it was moving and moved all the way to that zone on the day chart. You thought it was going to continue to drop, and it shot back up into a buy. Look, it moved in here. You go, ooh, I'm making money. Then it shot back up into a buy. Why did it shoot back up into a buy? Why did it shoot back up into a buy? Because it didn't like this zone. And so you're looking at like, oh, I thought it was a sell. You didn't go to the day chart, saw what it was on the day chart. Define your areas on your day chart that is not going to like, and stay within those zones. Following your worksheet. Why is 10 cents on a $10,000 account a different profit than 10 cents on a $50 account? I'm living by that worksheet. 10 cents? Oh, $10? No, Jennifer, I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with that. It shouldn't be different. It's not different on a $10 account or a $50,000 account. A PIP is going to be a PIP. It's going to be added up still the same. The only difference I can see is your leverage, the leverage that you have with your broker. Maybe both your leverages are not the same. Number one, I would tell you to check your leverage. That would be one. So sometimes the leverages are off, right? And if your leverage is off, that could be the reason why it's doing it. What's another reason why it could be different? Leverage is it. I only see about leverage being the difference between a $10,000 and $50,000. Even if it's a standard lot, it's still going to be the same amount of pips. The spread, that's another thing, absolutely. Thank you, Robert. Well, I got some good people on here. Robert or Queen, I don't know which one it is. I know Bulletin Company is either Robert or Queen. So the spread is another. So it's either your leverage or your spread. Sometimes the spread that the broker has is a little bit different. Oh, Andrew. All right. What is this? What is the safe leverage? I can't answer that. That what I want to answer. I will tell you what I have. On my Traders Way account, I have a 1 to 1,000, and on my JFX, I have 1 to 500. But it's that's what I would suggest. The best time of day to draw those lines, you can go to the previous candle. But 4 o'clock every day, a new candle is going to be formed on the day chart. 4 o'clock Central Standard Time, excuse me. 4 o'clock Central Standard Time, 5 o'clock Eastern, right? 2 o'clock Pacific, that candle is going to form. The new day candle is going to form. Typically, that new day candle stays in the shadow of the previous candle. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, right? So I try to gauge my trades by the wicks on the previous candle for the previous day, right? All right, now, look at this. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for a buy, right? Now, if I can't get a buy here and it's not going to hit here, no, not 4 a.m., 4 p.m. Central Standard, 4 p.m. Central Standard. This candle formed today on the day chart at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time when the Australian market opened. When the Australian market opens, you'll get charged a swap fee by your broker too. So you got to be careful about that too. So the new day starts, the new candle on the day chart starts on the Aussie and the New Zealand market when they open, okay? All right, would the stop loss be at the bottom of that zone? Absolutely. I'll put my stop loss somewhere at the bottom of this zone, right? And guys, let me tell you something. There's no safer feeling. That's why your lot size has to be appropriate. There's no safer feeling to know that when you go to the day chart and knowing that it's not going to break here, when you put that stop loss right there, you're not even tripping that it's going to break there because it's respected on the day chart. Now, this is a high percentage trade. It's respected this on the day chart. So your stop loss is right here. Right, you know it ain't broke there. It don't want to break there, right? So here's your stop loss. So my stop loss is here. The only thing I'm looking for now is securing profit, right? So I'm looking for a trade. This thing is in consolidation. So here's my buy stop order. My buy stop order is here. I'll put, if this is the buy limit, my buy stop order is right above that. So I'll wait for it to bust and I'll catch it going up. Right? I'm not even talking about indicators. You can do this when there's no news. Yes, you can do it when it's news. Oftentimes, you can do it on either day. I'm always going to say, however, respect the news. Christine, always respect the news. Okay? So I'll put my buy stop right here, and I'll let the market go ahead and kick me in here, and I'll ride this all the way back up as far as I can ride it. I ride that up. I put my buy stop, I ride it up. I know if it's going to come down here. Now, I need you to hear me. I do use indicators, though. I have to, because I got to know where the volume is flushing. If you're not using an indicator, you're not going to know where the volume is flushing. I'm going to go over that in a few seconds. Ooh, I'm almost out of time. Okay. Let me move a little faster because I'm almost out of time. All right. I mean, because there's so much that you can go into. Fibonacci, all of those different things. The golden rule on Fibonacci, there's so much that we can go into. I'm just trying to show you my trade day. So I'll put a buy stop here, right? I know I'm safe. I feel I'm safe. I'm not going to say I know. I feel I'm safe that this trade is not going to break here. So I'll put my buy stop here. What happens if it traces? I'll let it hit my buy limit. I'm in it twice. I'm that confident that this trade is going to go up, right? The only thing that's going to put me out right now is my stop loss. That's why I put it there. If this trade retraces down, I don't take my buy limit out just because it hit the buy stop. I still give room for this to come down and hit this zone. If this zone is like a magnet, the closer it is to this zone, I need you to understand about, there are different traders that talk about the magnetism of a market. I need you to understand this. This is a good note. It talks about the magnetism of a market, right? You have to know that a trade wants to test the previous area of a wick. You have to know that a trade wants to test the previous area of a wick. You have to know that, guys. What do you mean? As long as it's down here, this area is magnetizing this particular trade pair. Why do you see all these wicks? Do you see all these wicks? It's trying to pull it down here. It wants to pull it down here. So I leave my buy limit open because this may pull this into this area to hit that. That's just what some traders call magnetism in the market. So when you talk about magnetism in the market, right, it may pull it down here and hit that. So if it comes up and hit my buy stop and it pulls down, my buy stop, I'm not worried about my buy stop. I still have my stop loss down here. Right? I still have my stop loss down here. If it goes here and breaks this, yes, my stop loss is the same for both orders. Because why? Why is my stop loss the same for both orders? Because I have confidence that this trade has not wanted to break this zone. So my stop loss is the same for both orders. But my stop loss is what my account can handle. I don't care what it is. My account can handle that stop loss. So my account can handle this, right? And so I'm watching it. I want it to break this. If it breaks this, I'm good. Then I use my indicators to tell me if this is going to be a true move. This is the 15-minute chart. I use my indicators to tell me if this is going to be a true move or not. Are y'all with me? So I said my indicators tell me if this is going to be a true move. I have to use my indicators. Because I need to know if this is really going to move over momentum. If you don't have an indicator that regulates volume, a volume indicator, like here my volume indicator is under my money flow index. I want to make sure I'm doing volume. Oscillators, sometimes you have some oscillators, the stochastic and the MACD, sometimes they look for momentum. They work good. I know a lot of people that use those. I use the money flow index. It's worked well for me. But I want to know if this is going to be a move up, right? I want to know if that move up is going to be a true move up. If it's not going to be a true move up, then, I know how to regulate and watch what's going on. So I'll drop my indicators in here, which I don't have time to go over because I'm running out of time. Let's see, Drew's asking, is there a rule of thumb to determine what your account can handle? Well, I always do 1%. I only risk 1%, Drew. Some people risk 30%. I say 1% to 30% is a good, no, 1 to 3%. Excuse me, I apologize. 1 to 3% is the risk of your balance. But you're going for 10% a day of your balance. It's good to risk between 1 to 3%. That should be safe. Yeah, that's a daily percentage. So that should regulate your lot size too, where you're not blowing your account. There's no such thing as blowing out his account. Yeah, Tiffany say 30%. Yeah. I'm sorry, I had to fix that. All right, let me pause. Are there any questions on what I've covered so far? Are there any questions on what I've covered so far? I want to take a couple of questions. It's going to be like an hour today, boys and girls. I'm going to make sure you get this. Any questions in the chat? Go ahead and ask questions in the chat. I'll give you a few seconds. While we're waiting for some questions, guys, is this making sense? Are you kind of getting the gist of what's going on? Does the markups you are doing work for cryptocurrency? Oh, yes. Oh, if you, guys, use this for crypto. All the standard rules apply. Please use it for cryptocurrency. These same rules apply to crypto. Yeah, you do practice it with crypto. Tell me what you think. Practice with crypto. Tell me what you think. No matter what, I need you to understand, Brianna says, I'm still eating on AJ. You can, listen, boo, you can eat on AJ all day long. AJ is dropping, right? I use the same thing with the trade I gave my team on AJ. I use the same philosophy. That's how I knew AJ was going to drop. Same philosophy. That's how I knew AJ was going to drop. And we had some people make some good money today on AJ. If you made some good money today on AJ, put I did in the group. If you made good money on AJ, I did. Come on, let me see where you are. All right, how did you say your resistance line? Rodney, repeat that just to make sure I got it, because I'm not understanding. How did you say your resistance line? AJ means Australian. JPY. How did you set your resistance line? My resistance line or support lines are based on these wicks. I find where the most wicks are and I kind of stay in that area. Like right now, I see all these wicks right here. I know this is an area where this has struggled. It's struggled in this area. So I went a little bit above and I said, okay, let me see if it hits this. Then I know it's going to hit that with some momentum. Why is it going to hit it with momentum? Because it's breaking through all this trash, all this right here. I need to break through that, right? So if it breaks through, I know it's going to start moving up. I think that's another question. I made profit on AJ. Do you use MACD? No, I don't, but MACD works good. I'm going to show you what I use. I really want to be a part of this, but I'm still having issues signing up. What? I am not so good with the computer. Will that stop me from investing, please? If you haven't signed up, then that's a whole nother issue. Not good with the computer. I mean, there's something I can't talk about your learning curve, but my suggestion to you is that you be patient and learn it. There's nothing better than this. I'm talking to everybody out there. You can't give me anything out there right now that's better than what we're doing. You can't give me anything that's out there that's better than what we're doing. All right. Were those your 5 rules? You started out with rule 1 and didn't say rule 2 through 5. That's a good one, Daniel. I really couldn't get to him because I got so caught up. I got so caught up into making sure you understood the day chart. But that was rule number 1. Rule number 1 is look at your trades through the day chart. Number 2 was draw your support and resistance lines in the day chart. How long should I watch a trade? I would tell you choose you about 3 pairs that you like. I love AUD, JPY. I love that because I make money on that when the market is usually sluggish. So I like AUD, JPY. AUD, USD sometimes. But AUD, JPY is one of my favorite. GBP, JPY is another one of my favorite. USD, JPY, and gold are my favorite too. All right, now let's look at this. So rule number 1 was go to the day chart, find out how the market is moving on the day chart, whether it's an uptrend or a downtrend. Number 2, if you're on my team, take notes, I'm done. Number 2, I go and I draw my support and my resistance lines and look for my turnaround zones. My support and my resistance line. Number 3, I use my indicators. So I'm gonna drop some indicators on here while the few minutes that we got. I already have a video on indicators, so you can go online and look at my videos on indicators. So I don't have to go through and too much define it. But I use a couple of indicators, right? I use indicator to define my strong entry zone. So my first indicator that I do use moving averages, but that's how I determine my trend with my moving average. But I don't need a moving average to determine the trend. I can kind of see where it is. You can go find my videos at Universal Trade House. That's where this video is going to be at today. It's going to be on Universal Trade House. So I go to my oscillators. My first one is my relative strength index, right? 14 period, moving average. Okay, so here's my first one, right? This is my line. This is where the markets, remember that line? It's that same line. This is everything that has happened for today. That's that line right there. And so you see the relative strength index where this is moving, it moved up, right? Now the 50, I use all GBP pairs on my London. The 50 line here is my support line. What typically happens on the support line, price bounces off the support line and it goes back down. That's why I call it support, right? When price is below the 50, sellers are in control of the market, right? Are moving into control. When it's below the 40, sellers are in control. When it's in here, this zone between the 40 and the 50, there are a lot more sellers in the market than buyers. When it's in this place, there's a lot more sellers than buyers between the 50 and the 40. When it drops below the 40 right here, sellers are dominating the market at that point. So who's dominating the market at this point? Sellers. What I'm looking for is a buy, right? That's what I'm looking for, this buy. I want this buy. Well, there are too many sellers in the market for it to be a buy, so I need this price to cross the 50. And I need it to be in this area, right? When this price moves into this area, I'm writing that trend down. But the RSI is just relative strength. It's just telling me where the strength of the market is. It doesn't tell me how long it's going to move. It's just telling me where the strength is. So I need something in here to tell me how strong that move up is going to be, how strong that move down is going to be, and that's where you go to volumes. So I'll take this again, and I'll drop a volume indicator in here. I use the default settings, 14 period moving average, and I put this in here. Oh, now look. What does volume tell you? Volume tells you how strong the move is going to be. It's when this went down, notice there was a down move. When it went down here, it got real long. That's where that real long red candle is there, right? And then it started going up. Now, volume is telling me that this price wants to go up. That's what I want. I want this to go up. So I'm looking to get in on this on a buy, right? So once this breaks here, I'm pretty sure this blue line is going to be above it, right? So I'm going to draw my trend line, right, from here on up, and I'm going to ride that thing up, right? If it does it, volume is here. Volume is telling me how strong this move up is going to be. This is telling me it wants to go up, but this is telling me there's a strong move in the upward direction. I will also, guys, give you another secret, right? I'll draw a trend line on my indicator, right? And I will ride this. As long as this is going up in this trend, I'm in this trade. As long as this is going up on this trend, I do this all the time. So here's my first was, I go to the day chart, look at my day chart, right? As I look at my day chart, I kind of figure out what this is going to do. Then I draw my support and my resistance, my turnaround zones, right here. That's the next thing I do. The third thing I do is I come and I look for my RSI, where that's going. Fourth thing I do is I look for my volume, where that's going. So these are two indicators in one, right? So my RSI is telling me it wants to go up. My volume is telling me it's going to go up. That's what it's showing me, right? And so I'm just going to ride that thing up. I'm going to ride that thing up as it goes up. Now, as I ride this going up, as I ride it going up, ride it going up like so. I ride this going up like so, and that's what I do on that level, right? I ride it up. So that was 4. Where's my 5th? My 5th is my entry point, right? Sometimes my entry point is a little bit cloudy, and I want to get me a good place to enter it in, right? I can enter in any time, but sometimes I kind of want a little definitive entry point zone. So I'll go ahead and I'll add in what we call the ADX, or the average directional moving index. I'll add that to my chart. It's already made up, and here it is right here, right? So listen, I go over this and some of my rules of what I do when I'm looking to enter a trade, and here they are right here. So my ADX is my last thing that I use to kind of pinpoint and define where my entry point is going to be. So I'm looking for this to be a buy. For it to be a buy, this green line right here needs to cross this red line going up, right? And it needs to be above the 20. So I need this to be above that 20. So I'm looking for my entry point. I know I'm looking for it to move up. I know I'm seeing the volume and everything move up. Now I'm just looking for a good entry. What am I looking for? A good entry. So as I'm looking for this good entry, I want my black line to be above the 20. I want my green line to be above the 20. But I want my red line to be below the 20. Right? And when it's like that, that is a good place to enter into the market. That's when you can do that at a market execution, if that's how you want to do it. Or you can set a pending order where you think this is going to be, because you know that it doesn't want to go down. You're gambling on the chance that there's a high percentage that this is going to rise. You're gambling on a higher percentage that this is going to rise. All right. Went over a lot today. Did a lot today. Did a whole lot today. And I do this on the harmonic scanner too. There's some other rules that I have. I'm not going over right now. Right. So let's go over number one. I go to my day chart. See what is going on my day chart. Number two, I draw my support and my resistance lines on my day chart to define my zones. Where are my zones for a turnaround, right? What zones do I need to be paying attention to when I go on lesser time frames to trade, right? Look at this. Is this starting to try to move up, right? I wouldn't even look into this chart to actually do a trade with, but it's just interesting that this could be a possible good trade to get in, right? So that's number two. Number three, I look at my RSI, what direction it's going in, what direction my RSI is going in, and that's my blue line. Number four, I want to make sure where volume is. Is volume moving with that RSI in the same direction? Because here's an example. What if volume is going down, RSI is going up? That's something that you need to know. When volume is going down, RSI is going up, it could possibly be a fake move to the upside, right? What you want is volume and RSI going in the same direction. You want the momentum and the strength to be going in the same direction, because that lets you know that it's really going to move up, right? That's what you want. This purple line means it's going to move up. If this purple line is going down, this blue line is going up, this blue line is not going to go up for long. It's going to go and it's going to consolidate because there's no mass behind it to push it up. Number five is I'm looking for an entry point. I use my ADX to define my entry point. Those are some things that I do, right? Right? All right. So I see somebody say, what about the trend? Right. On my day chart, I establish my trend, trending up, trending down. I let my day chart tell me which direction I want to function in. All right, what are the two numbers for the RSI? Very simple. They're just default. Don't change anything. Just drop them in. So you add in the RSI, and then you come back. You have to do this on your computer. You add your money flow here. Click your money flow here, and you can drag it in here. You'll add the money flow to it. You click and drag if you're on your computer. On your phone, it's a little bit different. How is this trending tonight? How did y'all like this? How'd y'all like the training tonight? How'd y'all like the training tonight? How was it? Did some things make sense? Yep, now it's time to implement. Guys, I want everybody on here to do me a favor. I want you to see my heart just for a second. Just want you to hear my heart for a second. I come on, I do my videos, I train, I coach, train, and coach. Just always want you to understand that my heart is to help people succeed. That's the only thing I want to do. I want to make sure. Some of you guys, you know you're not on my team. Some of y'all accounts not even active, but you're coming here and I'm teaching, right? And you know who you are. Your account's not active. Let's not play. You know it and I know it. It's not active. It's okay. I have one overall rule. I just want to help everybody win. I do trade the London session. But hear me out just for a second, Ms. Carter. I'm going to get back to it. I want to make sure everybody's winning. And to be able to do that, takes a lot. There's a lot of things I could do that could end up stopping this, or the things I could do to keep it going. I want you to win. And I'm sorry if sometimes my words or things like that get interpreted the wrong way. But essentially, you name a leader, name one. No, don't do that. Name a leader that's doing what I'm doing. I open up the door for everybody. Right? If there are other leaders on that, I applaud them. Cool. But the overall objective is see my heart. That's all. See my heart. That's all I want you to see. Don't question nothing. See my heart. Let me get on here for an hour, knowing y'all not on my team, knowing I don't get any money because you pay your monthly subscription. Know that you need to see my heart. And all I'm trying to do is make sure that everybody's winning. Right? I thank y'all for appreciating me, but at the same time, I want you to just, hey, recognize what my heart is toward you. I have people that join other leaders, and their leaders are not teaching them how to trade. Let's just be transparent. I have other leaders in IML, top chairmen, and they're not teaching their people how to trade. And you joined their team. You joined their team, and they're not teaching you how to trade. But here is my problem. You joined their team, they're not teaching you how to trade, but you come back to leaders asking them to teach you when you had the opportunity to join, but you didn't do it. I'm going to say that again. There are some leaders I have that are part of my team that solicited people and asked them to join. They didn't join. They went with a big-time leader or a big-name leader. The problem is that leader's not teaching you how to trade. Then you come back to people on my team who are learning how to trade because that's our emphasis, and you're asking them to teach you. Do you think that's right? Do you think it's right that you could have joined them, but you didn't? I'm only talking to those people, and you know who I'm talking to. This is not for everybody. Do you think it's right? You could have joined them, you didn't. You joined with a top name leader who doesn't trade, but then you come back to people on my team because that's our overall focus is teach people how to trade, and then you inboxing them, asking them to train you. I just don't think that's right. The focus of our team, the focus when you're with Dr. Spiller, there's one thing that you're going to get. You're going to learn how to trade. When we first joined this organization, we wasn't teaching trading. I wasn't teaching trading, damn it. I was only teaching join the business and get to Platinum 600. Now you have people who have joined, they're not getting help, they're blowing up my inbox and they're asking me to help. Would you help? Would you help? Would you help? Would you help? I didn't know who you were before. And I said, hey, go to Universal Trade House on YouTube, go to Universal Trade House on Facebook, and I'll try my best to help you there. But I've told my leaders it is not your responsibility to reach out and help other people that could have joined with you but made the conscious decision to go with someone else because they wanted a residual income check. That's just not right. Right? And so now we have this issue with my leaders always inboxing me. Dr. Spiller, this person asked me to help. Dr. Spiller, this person asked me for help. Dr. Spiller, this person asked me for help. What do I do? What do I do? And I tell my leaders, train your team. Train your team. If they want to catch some training for you, they should catch it on the fly. But you have one thing you do: train your team. Now, that's not me being hard, guys. That's just me being honest. And if it sounds hard, then you're missing the message. Because I don't have to do this, and many of you are not on my team. I've called leaders to come join with me. They intentionally did not return my call. Intentionally went with someone else. But the person they went with is not teaching them how to trade. Now, who did they reach out to help? They asked me. I called them. Hey, I'm trying to reach you. Hey, I want to talk to you about this opportunity. Went with someone else. The other person's not training. Not training. Then they asked me, can you help? But because this is ministry for me, I do it anyway. There are people out there that charge for, what? Do you know how much I could charge you for this? To fine tune your trading acumen? I don't. But don't take what I do for granted. Don't take what I do for granted. Because I'm doing it out of love. Don't take what I do for granted. Because I'm doing it out of love. Thank y'all so much for being on tonight. This recording will be uploaded to my Universal Trade House page. And do me this favor, defend me. I'll say that. Defend me. Defend my heart. Don't defend me. I'm going to say this. Defend my heart. Don't defend me, because I ain't no good. Defend my heart. Don't defend me. If you see my heart, defend my heart, because I'm jacked up. That's a whole bunch of stuff around me God's still dealing with me on. But you can't defend my heart. All right? God bless you. I love you. And I'll be back on this week teaching again, making sure that you have your trades together. Wait till I show you how to put this on a harmonic scanner. You talking about your trades going to the next level. Carmen, wait till I show you how to put this on a harmonic scanner. I haven't been doing London Breakout in a minute. I may get back to doing it. I just don't do London Breakout when there's a lot of news. Hey, Chantel, love you. I just don't do London Breakout when there's a lot of news because it has a way of affecting the market. So whenever there's news coming out, major news coming out, the other time of the London Breakout, I don't do it because it can fake you out and throw off your whole account. Will you do the web analyzer? I'm still looking at the web analyzer. I haven't made up my mind yet. I'm still looking at it. Hey, Joyce. Love you. All right, guys. Time to let y'all go. Peace, blessings, favor.